Hello guys, welcome back. I hope you are doing well. And this lecture we are going to discuss the major clauses of utter speech. Maybe this topic is new for you, or maybe you haven't heard or learned about this topic before. And now you are listening to this topic for the first time. So let's watch and listen to the lecture to understand what the major clauses of utter speech are. If you have watched my previous lecture about the part of speech in which we have discussed the first three contents given here and we have left the number 4 content in that lecture. We have discussed definition of part of speech, number of part of speech in English and a part of speech multiple jobs. And we have left this number 4 content, which is major clauses of part of speech, and now we are going to discuss this number 4 content in detail in this lecture. So if you haven't watched my previous lecture about the part of speech in which we have discussed the first 3 contents given here, do skip this lecture and watch the lecture first, then come to watch this lecture. Okay, so let's get started the topic. Before going into the detail of the topic, let's see what are the things we have about the topic in this lecture. So the first thing we are going to discuss in this lecture about the topic is definite school of grammar, and the second thing is two major clauses of part of speech, and the third thing is difference between content words and functional words. And the last thing is signal words used to identify content words. So these 4 things we are gonna discuss in this lecture about the topic. So be with me to understand the contents clearly. Let's first of all discuss the definite schools of grammar. Keep this in mind, we have 2 definite schools of grammar in linguistics. Number 1 is traditional school of grammar and second is structure school of grammar. Okay, and these 2 different schools of grammar have different views and ideas about the part of speech. They see the part of speech with different angles. So that's why they present different classifications of the part of speech. Okay, so let's discuss what does traditional school of grammar say about the part of speech and what does structured school of grammar say about the part of speech. Traditional school of grammar base the designation on a word's meaning or signification. So they classify words on the basis of their meaning. They just look at the word's meaning and classified it according to that. For example, look at the example given here. A noun is a word that names a person, place, thing, or idea. So if a word that refers to the name of a person, place, thing, or idea, they call it a noun. Okay? And structured school of grammar see that words is often identifiable through possession in a sentence. So they classify words on the basis of their position in a sentence. Look at the example given here. Her blank was on the table. Okay, so this blank is the place of the subject, and you know that subject is always noun. Okay, the place of the subject is the place of a noun. Okay, let me say, for example, her book was on the table. So book is a noun because it is used as the subject of a sentence. And also remember this thing, her is a possessive adjective. And possessive adjective is always followed by a noun. So this blank is the place of the subject and subject is always noun, and also her is a possessive adjective and it is always followed by a noun. So that's why book is a noun, because it is used as the subject of a sentences, or it is used after the possessive adjective her. Okay, So this is all about the two different schools. Okay, so these two different schools of grammar have different ideas and views about the part of speech. Using the valuable ideas and views by these different schools of grammar, we may classify the part of speech into two major classes. One is called content words. They are also called open class of part of speech. And second is functional words, and they are also called closed class of part of speech. Okay. So let's discuss what are content words and what are functional words. Content words are the words that carry the most meaning of a sentences. So these are the words that convey the most meaning of a sentences, and we can easily understand the meaning of a sentence through content word. Okay, because they have the most meaning of a sentence. Keep the points given here to understand clearly what are content words and to differentiate content words from functional words. The first point about the content word is these are the words that we would look up in a dictionary. Okay, and the second point about the content word is new words are added to the language and old words leave the language. Okay, so on the basis of these 2 points, new words are added to the language and old words are deleted from the language as the language changes. They are also called open class of part of speech because new content words are constantly added and old content words are constantly deleted from the language. Okay, so that's why they are referred to as open class of part of speech. Noun, adjective, verb, and adverb are called content words. So these 4 kinds of part of speech are included in content words. Okay. Now let's discuss what are functional words. Functional words are the words that have the little meaning of a sentence. They do not have the most meaning of a sentence, and we cannot get the full meaning from a sentence through just functional words. Okay, because they have the little meaning of a sentence. Okay, so keep the points given here about the functional words to understand what are functional words. Okay, the first point about the functional word is they exist to explain or create grammatical or structured relationship for content words. It means that they just provide a structure for the content words in a sentence in which content words may fit. And the second point about the functional word is there are much fewer in number. There are fixed in number and there are much fewer in number. So that's why they do not change. So on the basis of these 2 points, they are also called closed class of part of speech because we cannot add a new functional words to the language and we cannot add an old functional words from the language. Pronoun, preposition, conjunction, interjection, and determiners are called functional words. So these kinds of part of speech are included in functional words. Okay, now let's discuss what are the major discriminations or differences between content words and functional words. How can we differentiate content words from functional words? So there are some differences between content words and functional words through which we can differentiate content words from functional words. The first difference between content words and functional words is content words provide meaning in a sentence, and functional words provide structure for the content words in which content words may fit. Okay, and the second difference between content word and functional word is content words change their meaning as well as their form as we add suffix or prefix to the content words. But functional words do not change their meaning or their form. Okay, and we cannot add suffix or prefix to the functional words. For example, look at the example beauty. So beauty is a noun. If we add the suffix full to the word beauty, it becomes beautiful. And beautiful is an adjective. So the noun beauty changes into an adjective beautiful by adding the suffix full. Okay. And look at the example happy. If we add the prefix on to the word happy, it becomes unhappy, and it has a contrary meaning to the word happy. Happy means to have pleasant feeling, and unhappy means to have bad feelings. Okay, so by adding the prefix on, happy changes its meaning. Okay, the word happy changes its meaning. So content will change their meaning or their form by adding prefix or suffix. Okay, and the third difference between content words and functional words: content words are often identifiable through some specific signal words. There are some specific signal words through which we can identify content words in a sentence. But functional words or signal words themselves, they do not require any signal words to be identified in a sentence. Okay? And the last difference between content words and functional words is addition and deletion occur in content words as the language changes. But in functional words, no addition or deletion occurs as the language changes. So these are the major differences between content words and functional words. Now let's discuss the final thing about the part of speech, about the topic. There are some specific signal words that we may use to identify content words in a sentence. So there are 5 signal words, and we may use one of them to identify content words in a sentence. The first signal word is functional words. We can use functional words to identify content words in a sentence, such as the, about, of, etc. Okay, let me say, for example, the boy is standing on the road. So here boy is a noun because it is followed by the functional words the, and the is an article, and article is always followed by a noun. So here the boy is, in this example, a noun. Okay, and we may use inflectional morphemes and derivational morphemes to identify content words in a sentence. First, let's learn what are morphemes. Morphemes are the minimal unit of meaning and grammatical function. Okay, so there are 2 types of morphemes: inflectional morphemes and derivational morphemes, and we use one of them to identify content words in a sentence. Inflectional morphemes are the morphemes, they change the grammar of a word, and derivational morphemes are the morphemes that change the meaning of a word. For example, look at the example play. Play is a verb and it is a present form. If we add ed to the verb play, it becomes a past form. Okay, so by adding ed, it changes from present form to the past form. Okay, and look at the example misunderstood. So understood is a verb. If we add the prefix, the derivation morpheme miss to the word, it becomes a contrary word. Misunderstood. Okay, so misunderstood has an opposite meaning to the word understood. Okay, so we may use inflectional morphemes or derivational morphemes to identify content words in a sentence. And the fourth signal word is word order. We may use word order to identify content word in a sentence. For example, uh, the syntactical pattern of the sentence is subject plus verb plus object. If a word use is the subject of a sentence, it must be a noun. Okay. For example, the children play outside. So here, children is a noun because it is used is the subject of the sentence. So we may use word order to identify content words in a sentence. And the last signal word is stress pattern. We may use stress pattern to identify content words in a sentences. For example, subject subject. There are two syllable in the word. So if we put the stress on the first syllable serve, it becomes a noun subject. But if we add the stress on the second syllable jacked, it becomes a verb subject. Give me pronoun. Subject is a noun and subject is a verb. This is enough for now. Thank you for watching. Bye bye. See you in the next video. Thank you very much.